Welcome to the Porn Reboot podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Emezi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode. Today we're going to be talking about reclaiming your masculinity and how to rebuild your confidence after spending years as a porn addict. I'm going to say something today that not many people in your life are going to tell you. And that is that pornography has been stealing your masculinity piece by piece for years. Now, it didn't start all at once. It started slow. So slow that you didn't even notice that it was happening. But now you're a man who's exhausted, who's ashamed, probably soft in body, scattered in mind, and scared of your own wife's eyes. And I get it, because that used to be me, minus the marriage part. I'm not talking about vague concepts like, alpha male energy or masculine confidence that you hear on the internet and red pill podcasts. I'm talking about the quiet inner strength of a grounded man, the kind of strength that lets you walk into a room and know without saying a word that you belong. Everywhere you go, you understand that you are a contributor to humankind, that you have something of value to give. You never feel less than. And pornography erodes that. I want you to know exactly how you can get that back. Now, you think you just watch pornography, but in reality, pornography is watching you. That means it's reprogramming you. It's rewiring your brain. It's hijacking your dopamine system. It is castrating you of your willpower. You don't lead with strength anymore. You lead with impulse, with lust, with shame, and secrecy. Those are the things that lead your life. And it shows. Many of you cannot look your wife in the eye most times. You just kind of go through life, and when it's time for confrontation, you flinch. When I say you can't look into her eyes, I'm not saying you can't communicate with her directly. I'm saying that when it comes time for communication on things that are sensitive, you do not want to do that. You are constantly apologetic about having needs. Now, you might get mad and throw a little bit of a tantrum, but later on you're going to be slinking back, apologizing for your needs and for your masculine emotions. You avoid eye contact with attractive women as if they're radioactive to you. I've said it often. If you are a man, I don't care whether you are in a relationship or not, and you pretend that attractive women do not exist around you, you're only going to repress those impulses. There's nothing wrong with seeing an attractive woman, even as a married man, and appreciating her for being attractive without objectifying her, without wondering what it is like to have sex with her or wondering what she looks like undressed. You are a human being and you are designed for that as a man. You go to the gym sometimes, but you never keep momentum. I sometimes see, not sometimes, all the time, I see guys who go to the gym. They'll go to the gym for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Your body is not changing. Your body is a reflection of the work you put in, and it will show on your body. If you set out to get a six-pack and you don't have a six-pack after a year, that means you have not dropped enough body fat. Oh, but it's my genetics, is this. It's your job to work around that if that is your goal. But I see guys going to the gym all the time and they remain soft. Your voice doesn't even carry weight anymore. I'm shocked at the things that some of you allow your kids to say around you. The reason why you feel weak is because you've been acting weak. And I don't mean any of this to humiliate you. I only say it to wake you up. Again, I was there too. I used to feel like a fraud. I called myself a man, and I had all this big talk
then again, everybody could see through me back then. And I was basically secretly jerking off to like gangbang videos at 2 a.m. and then going through the day like a zombie the next day. So I had to reclaim myself. So let's go ahead and break down why you feel like less of a man and how porn is the reason for that and a few things you can do about it. Firstly, pornography kills your confidence by wrecking your ability to delay gratification. Every time that you give in to your porn urge, you are training yourself to seek instant pleasure over long-term reward. Now, within the porn reboot system, I tell men this because the first thought that comes up is, JK, I get it. But bro, that urge is so hard. Are you saying that, let's say I experience this urge for a couple of hours and I'm aware of it, but a couple of hours later, I give in to that urge. Does that mean that I've somehow failed? Does that mean that I haven't been able to delay gratification? No, you have actually delayed gratification. So when I say every time you give in to an urge to use pornography, I'm referring to any time that you do so instantaneously, without a pause, without awareness, without using a coping strategy and a tool. And what mainstream recovery has taught you is that anytime you give in to an urge for pornography, even if it was hours after you were trying to be aware of that urge and do something about it, that you have somehow failed. That is not how this works. In reality, the reps you are putting in to become aware of your urge, all of them actually count. So, for instance, if you experience an urge and you sit down and you have a dialogue with what we call your addict subpersonality. If you don't know what that is, this is something we teach you and a skill we teach you within the porn reboot system. You have a dialogue with it, or you use the masturbation checklist, or you use one of our many tools out there, and you become aware of where that urge comes from and why you're experiencing it. And you're like, okay, cool. Like, I know where it comes from. I understand why I'm experiencing it. Oh, and I realize that this awareness has reduced the urge. So I'm just going to go on with my day. However, because you spent years wiring your brain and your body to a specific response, a few hours later, the strong urge comes up again. And in that moment, you may give in to it. That doesn't mean you failed. What that means is that your brain and your body has been conditioned over a long period of time to have that response. So once in a while, it's going to hit you at a time that you are not prepared to be aware. What the porn reboot system does is it trains you to increase that self-awareness and that ability over time. You will find that in the future, as you begin to approach what we call the middle stage of your reboot, you experience the strong urge, you use a tool, you're good to go, you go about your day, the urge comes up again and you catch it. You're like, it came up again. And over time, as you go through the middle stage of your reboot, you come to realize that the urge stops coming up a few hours later. You experience less and less instances of that strong sexual urge lasting through the day or over a couple of days or even up to a week for some men. And that is a sign that your brain is rewiring. But if you were to beat yourself up over the strength of the urge and give in every moment, then you are not training yourself to delay gratification. Now, for the guy who is still struggling with their behavior with pornography, you think you're just relieving stress. Oh, I'm just relieving stress when I view pornography. But what you're doing is you're handing your power over to a screen. Discipline dies and direction disappears. You think it's just your sex drive, but then it spreads into your career, your workouts, and your relationships. And one day you wake up and guess what? You don't even trust yourself to finish what you start. What does that mean? It means that you're about to start something, you begin overthinking it, you begin ruminating, you think of 5 different ways and 5 other things that you could do when it comes to accomplishing that goal. And next thing you know, it's June and you haven't done anything you said you were going to do in January. Literally the impact of your behavior with pornography. The second thing is that pornography destroys your sexual ability. Call it your sexual leadership. You've trained yourself to orgasm to pixels, not intimacy, not a real woman's body, not real connection. And you've become dependent on synthetic sex to feel masculine. And when your wife touches you, your body doesn't even respond. Not because you don't love her, but because your brain has been conditioned to get off to fantasy. Now you're scared. Scared of being exposed. Scared of porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Scared of her rejection. That fear, it's not you. It's what pornography has done to you. The third impact is that pornography shatters your ability to build authentic confidence. True confidence doesn't come from being a loudmouth or having, being jacked and having big biceps. It comes from competence, consistency, and control. But you've been undermining all three. You can't be confident when you're hiding something. You can't be confident when you lie to yourself daily. You can't be confident when you know deep down that I'm not living like the man that I want to be, the man I should be. And that kind of confidence, it isn't built in the gym. You can't buy it in some alpha male course. It is forged in fire by doing what's right when it's hard. The good news is that you're not broken. You're not too far gone, nor are you too weak. You are simply conditioned, brother. And conditioning can be reversed. You can condition yourself to be a different person. Now, I've worked with thousands of men who thought that they'd never get their edge back. And I've heard it all. I've heard men say things like, JK, I've tried all sorts of things for years and nothing has worked. Or I feel like I'll never be a real man again. Or my wife deserves better, but I don't know how to become that man. You know what we did? We cut all the BS. You can say those things, that's fine, but all of it is still bullshit. It's not the reality. The reality is you can rewire your brain and you can recondition yourself. So we built those men into the men that they were supposed to be. We helped them identify, and we'll do the same for you, help you identify your higher self, define the life that you want clearly, and then create a path for you to get there. And not only that, we will walk with you along this path and let you know, hey man, you're there. Like you're 5 miles in, you're 10 miles in, you're 20 miles in, you're getting closer and closer. So here's how you start getting to that man. Here's how you become that person. The first thing is you want to get clear on your identity. A lot of people set goals for their reboot, and there's nothing wrong with goals. It's just that if you are going to set a goal, it is better to imagine and vividly do so the type of man you want to be when you are free of pornography. You want to imagine everything. What are the principles that he works off of? Were you raised as Christian? And even though you may not have had the greatest experience, you do hold some Christian principles near and dear to your heart? Do you have Stoic principles? Do you have certain principles that you admire from other men or men historically? Well, from those principles, we will build your values and we will build your standards. We will help you identify those things. When you build up a new man in the future, like this is the man I am going to be, that becomes what you work towards. And you start acting like that man today. So every moment, every decision you make, you ask yourself, is this what future me would do? And that's what you start working towards, as opposed to setting goals. Goals are wonderful, but this is the way you change your identity. Don't just say, I want to quit pornography. That's too vague. Be clear about it. What kind of man do you want to become? Are you a leader in your home? Is that what you see yourself being in the future? Are you an attractive man whose wife craves him sexually? Are you a father who your son admires? Like your son looks at you and goes like, that's the person I want to be. My dad is one of a kind. My dad is freaking extraordinary. Like I watch movie superheroes, I watch TV, I look at all these people online, and still I'm like, y'all don't understand who I live with, my dad. Are you a man who walks tall? Are you a man who does not have secrets, no lies, no shame? You just say it. You are living openly in the world and directly. Set the vision and your actions will follow. The second way to be in working towards that man is make decision based on that vision, not based on your feelings. Listen, you can't trust your emotions. You already know that. Your feelings want you to sit on the couch. Your feelings want you to sleep in. Your feelings want you to get another dopamine hit. Your feelings want you to cave. Your feelings are the same things that make you want to not get on a call. So you're like, oh, I want to get help for my behavior with pornography. Then you don't show up to the call. Then you do sign up for something, but you don't show up to speak to your therapist. You skip your group meeting with your coaches. Why? It's emotions. That's it. It's not some random thing. It is your emotions. Your feelings want you to fail and they want you to cave in. but your future self wants you to wake up proud. So stop choosing things based on how you feel. Choose based on where you are going in the future. And guess what? When you actually look at that feeling of like, how does it feel to work towards who I want to become? Sometimes it doesn't feel great. But guess what? The person you become feels great most of the time in the future. The third thing is visualize winning. And then you need to act accordingly. It's not enough to just visualize that person you're going to be in the future. You need to visualize him winning. Before you act like the man you want to be, like I said earlier, you have to see him. But you also have to see him overcoming a trigger, overcoming an urge. You have to see him being able to look directly in his wife's eyes and communicate clearly. You have to see him waking up porn-free, energized, and clear-headed. And then you have to act like it's already true. It's not magic. It's neuroplasticity. Your brain rewires itself. And clearly and vividly visualizing is one of the ways you get there. With every single decision that you make, every decision, brother, you are rewiring your identity. Next is build consistency. You were consistent with pornography. So guess what? You have to be consistent with your reboots too. And you can be, bro. Can you imagine being as consistent with your reboots and the things you say you're going to do in life as you were with pornography? You're like, oh my God, I slipped and went to the gym and I hit a PR. Oh my goodness, I slipped and I woke up at 4 a.m. for like 3 months in a row. What a relapse. Oh my goodness, I slipped and I hit my business revenue goals and I took home $15,000 in profit every month. God, it's like the worst relapse ever. That is the life that not only I, but many of my clients live right now. Because everything you are doing with pornography, all of that can be redirected towards positive things. Back in the day, I used to call these my positive addictions. I took everything that I was addicted to, everything I was impulsive and compulsive with, and I turned all of them one by one towards the positive things I wanted to do in life. And people look at me now and they think I'm crazy. You're insane. How do you live your life like that? Well, the same way I was living my life as an addict, with lots of hard work and long hours at night. So set a schedule, honor your rituals, track your progress, compete with yourself, outdo yesterday's version of you. Consistency builds certainty, and certainty builds confidence. Finally, brother, stop apologizing for being a man. Too many brothers are out there trying to please everyone, your wife, your friends, your coworkers, while bleeding internally from a wound that you never talk about. While you've been pleasing others, you've been poisoning yourself. And enough of that. Own your space, own your need to heal, own the boundaries required to rebuild. If you need to say no to late nights, to drinking, or to people pleasing to protect your reboot, you need to say it loud. And listen, if you can't say it on your own, then you need to be in a community where people say things loud. I used to be the biggest people-pleasing pussy you had ever seen. I was such a nice guy. Now, nobody accuses me of being a nice guy. Literally. Nobody says, oh, JK is a nice guy. In fact, people who have never spoken to me before, who just hear me on the podcast or watch me on video, say, you know what, that guy sounds a little bit like a dick. But none of my clients will say that. None of my clients will say JK is a dick. The reason why was that I had to learn how to set boundaries. I had to learn how to say no, how to let go of many people in my life, how to say no to unhealthy habits, how to stop people pleasing, especially with family members. These were hard things to do. I had to prioritize myself and the people who were most important to me. And then when I started serving other people, I had to do that even more. Because I had other people's lives and belief in my hands till today. So the lines needed to be drawn. I don't care how nice you think you are. You can change that. But you need to be around people who are exemplary, who show you how to do it. You're not fragile. You are focused. Listen, this podcast alone will not change your life. Doing something about it and taking action will. So, if you're sick of feeling like a fraud, pretending you're okay, or watching your confidence dissolve in front of your kids, your wife, then brother, it is time to draw a line. We have a proven process. It doesn't require you to confess to strangers in a circle. It doesn't ask you to beat yourself up, and it doesn't drown you in shame. But it does work. You'll learn how to rebuild discipline even if you failed thousands of times. You'll learn how to regain sexual control and reverse porn-induced erectile dysfunction. You'll learn how to restore your masculinity with clear, simple, daily practices. And you'll learn how to build a new identity, one that is rooted in strength, integrity, and purpose. But I don't want you to sit there going, JK, this sounds good. I'll think about it. I want you to make a decision. There is a link below this podcast episode to book a call with a team member to speak to a man who has dealt with this behavior himself for years, and he has personally overcome it. Not only has he personally overcome it, but he has coached others. And it costs you nothing. We do not charge you to get on a call. It is your chance to get on a call with a man who knows how to get out of it, which means every part of that conversation you have with him is going to be an eye-opening conversation. It's not going to be some soft like, oh, tell me how you're doing and how. No. It is going to be an assessment of your situation. And you're going to be honestly and compassionately told whether you're a good fit for our system or not. That's exactly what's going to happen. If you're not a good fit, you're going to be told why. What do you mean I'm not a good fit for your program? It's not rejection, and it's not going to feel like it. We're going to tell you, listen, you need to work on this, and this. You need to find yourself an accountability group. Here's where you go find one. Here's a free resource you can use. Do this for this amount of time and then reapply. Now, if you are a fit, we'll invite you in. If you're not a fit, you're going to leave with a lot of information on what to do to perhaps get yourself to the early stage of your reboot. So you're going to either way walk away with more clarity than you've had in months. No shame, no pressure, just the truth, man to man. Because you don't need inspiration, you need action. Let's get to work.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out-of-control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast, so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.